We've been seeing a whole lot of flagship launches recently, and now it's Realme's turn with the GT8 Pro. Powered by the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5, sporting a massive 7000 mAh battery, a 2K 144Hz display, a 200 megapixel periscope telephoto, and even some cosmetic customization thrown in, this one looks like a very interesting offering. So today, let's first get it unboxed and then take an in-depth look at what Realme's done this time. Hey guys, my name's Ash, you're watching C4E Tech. And getting early access to all these devices is pretty difficult. If you enjoy watching this content, consider subscribing to C4E Tech. With that said, let's get started. So here's the box the GT8 Pro ships in. What's new this time is that Ricoh GR collaboration. I've got the base variant here, 12256. Realme does offer up to 16 gigs of LPDDR5X RAM and 1TB of UFS 4.1 storage. Open up the box and the first thing you see is this black insert. It holds some booklets, a pair of screws and a screwdriver, and then there is this soft case with markings on the inside showing you why you'd even need those screws and a screwdriver in the first place. And then we get to the start of the show, the Realme GT8 Pro itself. This blue back here, Realme calls it organosilicone leather, basically vegan leather. It's also available in white and green. The greens fall leather too, while the white uses fiberglass. Next up, we've got the SIM tool, a USB Type-A to Type-C cable with white accents, and of course a 120 watt SuperVOOC charger. Now the first big design change you're gonna notice is with the camera deco. Realme seems to have moved on from their space viewport design to a side-aligned circle, kinda like Xiaomi's Civi phones. Or have they? These screws here, you can actually remove them and just leave it off, or swap the deco out, pick up a different one. And at least in China, Realme's got a ton of options available. But why would anyone want to do that? Changing from circular to rectangular means paying for the new deco and a new case. So what's the point? Well, officially, it's about giving users more customization options. But personally, if you ask me, it's just Realme pandering to TikTok. Something like this looks great in short-form content. It gets the extra eyeballs, and honestly, I like it. If a brand wants to skip paid promos and celebrity endorsements to go for something fun and harmless that helps them trend, I'm all for it. But what do you think? Useless gimmick or brilliant marketing? Leave a comment down below. Now design-wise, this is your typical 2025 flagship. Flat display, flat back, metal frame, rounded edges, curved corners. Given the display here is 6.8 inches, this design, I want to call it ergonomically challenged. Now jokes apart, the faux leather back does add to the grip and makes the phone feel premium. It's also got a unique pattern, like veins on a leaf. Looks nice. And of course, it doesn't pick up fingerprints or smudges, which is always a plus. Now the GT8 Pro continues to offer a good ingress protection rating, an IR blaster, the support for NFC, Wi-Fi 7 and Bluetooth 6. Then there's an ultrasonic fingerprint scanner which is placed quite comfortably. It's the same one from the Redmi K90 Pro Max where you don't even have to lift your finger to scan. And Realme's managed to do all this and at the same time shave a bit of weight and thickness off. Impressive. Especially when you see that the battery capacity has been bumped up by 500 mAh to 7000 mAh, and using that included 120 watt charger, this phone can go from 0 to 50 in just 17 minutes with a full charge taking around 45. You also get 50 watt wireless and reverse wireless charging, plus the option to bypass charging entirely if you want to get the most out of the SoC. Nice touches. Speaking of which, under the hood, we've got a Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5, and we've seen the sky-high benchmark numbers with this chip already. Surprisingly, here, the sustained performance, not that good. The GT8 Pro lost over 65% of its performance peak after a 20-minute stress test. At least it didn't get hot with temps topping out at about 45 degrees. So yeah, not the best pick if gaming's your top priority. That said, it should still handle most games fine, plus Realme's included a dedicated R1 gaming chip to help with super resolution and frame generation, which is very important here given the display. It's got a 2K resolution and 144Hz refresh. So this is a 6.78-inch AMOLED LTPS panel, so it does lack dynamic refresh, but it's extremely sharp and smooth, and it even gets quite bright. Realme claims a brightness peak of an insane 7000 nits, but that's for HDR. In our testing, this panel did output over 2100 nits, which puts it amongst the brightest panels out there. Great visibility outdoors, no issues whatsoever. Pair that with excellent stereo speakers and you've got yourself a great audiovisual experience overall. Now on the software side of things, we've got Realme UI 7 on top of Android 16 and everything feels snappy, fluid, well optimized. Realme is promising 4 years of Android version upgrades for this, which is 1 year more than what the GT7 Pro got. So I'm gonna call it a step in the right direction. Now let's talk optics, starting with the primary Sony IMX906, a 50 megapixel 1x1.56 inch sensor paired with an f1.8 lens with OIS. We've seen this one before and it's a solid performer, but given all the focus on cameras and the Ricoh GR partnership, I'd have loved to see Realme use a larger sensor. Now speaking of that collab, you get a new GR mode which lets you shoot at 28 and 40mm focal lengths by default, and you also get options to switch to 35 and 50mm as well. Now you get 5 tone presets here, that's the main thing. Standard, positive, which gives you slightly contrasty images. Then there's the negative film and 2 monochrome options. I particularly love this contrasty monochrome. The results, they look very pleasing to me. Now each of these presets you can tune further and even showcase your settings with this watermark. Neat, right? Then there's the snap option that lets you lock focus at one of these distances. Now barring this, the images were well detailed, processed right, not too saturated. Even in the low light, highlight control was well implemented. Now I'd still call this a step below phones with larger sensors, but for this sensor size, Realme's done really well. Now the secondary is an OmniVision OV50D, that's another 50 megapixel sensor paired with an ultra-wide lens that has a 116-degree field of view. And here's the big upgrade, that periscope telephoto. 200 megapixels, Samsung HP5. This has the same sensor size as the primary and it's paired with a 3x telephoto lens. With sensor cropping at even 6x, we can shoot 50 megapixel images. That turned out quite detailed. And the 3x portraits, I really liked how they looked. Just look at the amount of detail in the shot. Now if you want to go super zoom, Realme does use AI to clean up images real nice. For video, we can shoot 4K 120 10-bit log footage with both the primary as well as the telephoto. Realme's even thrown in LUTs for monitoring. The primary camera tops out at 8K 30 and that footage was just fine. For selfies, 4K 60 is the max. Stills themselves had good skin tones, acceptable detail, and accurate edge detection. Now the Realme GT8 Pro starts at 39.99 renminbi in China, meaning a bump up of about 8% from the last gen, very similar to Redmi's K90 Pro Max. In fact, these two phones, they share a lot of similarities, right from the price to the material choices for the back. Initially, the GT8 Pro, it didn't feel like it offered the same kind of value, because the Redmi, it has that larger sensor, the USB 3.2 with video out and all that. But then when I thought about it, Realme's camera software and processing is a little bit better thanks to that Ricoh GR collaboration, and the display is also sharper and brighter. So at the end of the day, if Realme doesn't go crazy with pricing, this might end up being a really solid pick. What do you think? Leave a comment down below, and if you've made it this far, please consider subscribing. I try to cover Chinese launches as early as possible, and if that's your kind of thing, make sure you don't miss out. Thanks for watching. Ash out.